He's an action figure poser, which means posing action figures is his specialty. SeanSolo8 and it's Vern from OakhurstStudios, who is a master at complaining about pretty much everything. And together, they are the Toy Duo.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's our third episode of the Toy Duo. I kind of want to do like I was telling you off camera, like intro, but I think it would be funny if like I can make those two characters, like our heads, maybe put them on the Batman and Robin and have them like running. And then I'll just do, so as not to get a copyright strike, I'll just do the music like, no, the Toy Duo.
Yeah, hey, that'll work too, man.
Anyways, this is welcome to the Toy Duo. We are kind of a Star Wars, Marvel, pretty much everything sort of live stream podcast. We're going to talk about action figures, pop culture stuff, whatever comes up during the week, I guess. We are going to focus on like action figures and toys and stuff like that. And the two hosts here, if you guys are new to the show, it's SeanSolo8 or Sean at SeanSolo8. That's your handle, right? And then, of course, I am OakhurstStudios, or my handle is at Vern Rants. So it's going to be like that. YouTube.com at /@SeanSolo8 or YouTube.com / Vern Rants. And I read those out because I don't know if the people watching know, but I have been posting these episodes as a podcast. So right now they're on like Anchor, Spotify, and iTunes. You can find us, listen, and give us a 5-star rating. We'll move right on up to the top. Yeah. It will be so popular. Yeah, what a dream, right? I saw that.
I'm watching my little puppies fighting up there. So,
oh yeah,
I'm the dog sitter right now. So if I have to get up and grab them,
okay.
I give them both a bone, and you know how that works.
Are they fighting over each one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
just so you know, this week right now is we're gonna I get this like Marvel Legends thing on the banner. Did they become the Marvel duds? I don't know why I was thinking about that during the week. We'll get to that when we do our new action figure reveal. So we got a little slide presentation we'll go through and we'll talk about some of the reveals. We'll kind of have like some banter about whether or not we think they're hot or not. And then, of course, we want the chat to join in and tell us, hey, what do you guys think of this figure? Of course, I ran a poll on my community page to 4 figures. Which one should we highlight this week? And of course, the action figure of the week is Darth Vader. And of course, what an iconic character when we get to talking about that. We're going to do maybe some, I kept saying tips and tricks to collecting and stuff like that. But I mean, like, besides like, we'll talk about that.
Throwing boxes later. Away last week was our tips.
Yeah, right.
And I watched this week, and I guess they started throwing away their boxes too. And they were talking about how good it feels. And it does. That one time when you throw away a big bag of boxes and it clears up a lot of space, that feeling that you get inside is unlike, I'm not saying, it's a real joyous feeling, but it's unlike any other feeling that you've had. And you feel like you've let off a huge weight off your shoulders. That's probably what it's similar to.
I think it's interesting because like when you start collecting, like when you start looking and you start like the community, like on Twitter and Instagram, and you see what everybody else is getting and you see somebody get something cool, you kind of like want to get it. Where before, if you were in your self-confined world, you would like pick up like only the ones that you speak to you, but then you see how they speak to somebody else and you're like, oh yeah, I want to add that to my collection or something like that. And I think collecting is kind of like hoarding in a way.
It is, man.
To that, right? So that whole getting rid of boxes is like that whole, who's that? Is that Maria Kondo or whoever comes in and helps you like clean out
that's
your
probably
house
the same
whatever.
Feeling.
Yeah, like they find like a tote full of like boxes and it's like, what are you ever going to do with these? Well, if I ever want to resell them. You think you're ever going to resell this stuff? No, then out, if they, if they've been in a tote, I mean, like, honestly, I mean, and you haven't looked at them in 5 years, I mean, I understand the principle behind it, but it's kind of interesting. Did I tell you this story when we moved? We had like this attic space and we had
Yeah.
all these totes, and every time we put something in the tote, we would take it up in the attic and shove it in there. And when we were moving, we were packing everything up, and I went up to the attic and moved all the totes down to the garage. And basically, it's the same floor space as the garage. So basically, it was the entire floor of the garage had a tote. So I sat there in a chair and went through every single tote. And I think I ended up with like a half a tote of stuff that came to this house, and the rest of it went into the dumpster.
Oh boy.
Because
That's
I mean,
incredible.
yeah, stuff was up there for like 15 years, and you know, you've never looked at it and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, well, what are you keeping it for? What are you keeping it for at that point?
Hey, you two.
Is that your dogs?
Yeah.
Talking to them like people?
Yeah.
All right. So we do have some people in the chat. I just wanted to say hello to them. We got Dandy 1981. He had a birthday this week. Built a
Hey, happy birthday, man. I've seen him. Yeah, I've seen him building the snowman on Instagram.
Yeah, amazing. So happy birthday. And we got Gerard Kane joined us. Sir Eric Brown is here. Some dude named OakhurstStudios and SeanSolo8 somehow are in the chat. Those must be imposters. Joseph Batts here.
What's up? What's up?
Connor from Fuller Figures. Razov's here. Let's see. Do you guys have stock market advice? I need more money. These figure prices are getting crazy. Carded Boba Fett at Target is like $36.
Yeah, and you know, are we going to talk about them cutting forces at Hasbro and stuff? That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, we are going to talk about that. I mean, that's pretty big news right here. So let's see. Rolando's here. Brian's here. Brian Myers. Matt from Zero Toy Hunters is here. How's it going? Thanks for joining us again. Jonathan Redmond's here. Brian's action figure reviews. He may not like something that I have to say in the hot or not section when it comes to one of the Marvel Legends reveals this week.
Yeah.
But you know, like, it's just an opinion, so try not to get upset by it. Let's see. Miriam Gills is here.
What's up? What's up?
Guys and pals. I'm just trying to see if I'm missing anybody. I think I got everybody. If I miss somebody, please, you know, throw in another chat bomb and tell me, hey, you missed me, dude. Anyways, so what do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about this like 15%, or you want to go into the reveals this week and then talk about the 15%?
I guess we do reveals.
All right. All right, so as usual, I made like a little PowerPoint presentation to go on, and I just saw this. This is that Wednesday Addams. I wish they would just do like action figures, you know, maybe like the ones they did for Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I wish they would do something like that.
Oh, they're coming, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I wish like I understand this. This was like quick to pop out because it's kind of like a bobblehead type thing, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not that interested. I like the show, but this is not something that I'm gonna.
Yeah, I've watched 2 episodes so far. It's really hard to, because I want to watch it with my wife. It's really hard to check that out.
Oh, so you don't want me to tell you how it ends?
No. I know there's a season 2 coming. We got greenlit. Right.
So I want to tell a story about that. Like, they used to do this radio show out here, and I know it's all fake, but like they did this thing where like they would call people and like try to like bust them and something like that. You've probably heard something similar out there where like they try to bust people in their relationships or whatever.
Oh yeah.
By offering them like roses or whatever. So they used to do one in San Diego, and I don't know if it was nationwide, but the skit was, they called it machaca, and machaca burrito is like kind of like everything in there. Mm-hmm. So it could be anything. And it was, the lady called up and she said, I think my boyfriend's watching Breaking Bad without me. Like, they're supposed to be watching it together, but she thought he was watching without her. So they called him up and they pretended like they were going to give him this all expense paid trip to like Albuquerque or wherever it was filmed. And one of the actors was going to tour him around to all the locations and stuff like that. And he was like all jazzed about it because, that was, a show was really big at the time. And they were like, all you got to do is tell us what happened to the pizza.
Yeah.
Right? And he goes, he threw it on the roof.
Oh no.
And that was like a season ahead of where they were.
Oh no.
So they got busted. I thought that was very funny. Anyways, unrelated story to watching Wednesday.
Well, it's like my daughter's getting mad at me because I've been watching The Bad Batch without her. Because I just can't wait, man. I know it sucks and it's mean, but I rewatch it with her, so that counts, right?
Yeah, I totally think so. And then like you're prepared to explain any of the difficult stuff.
Have you been watching Bad Batch? Because this week's episode, has a lot of controversy behind it. But yeah, these are cool, and I'm sure it makes a lot of fans happy, but not for me.
Yeah, I'm not. I like to see what the chat thinks about these like Ninja Turtles figures. They're
you ought to see the ones I got. Oh no, it would everything would come crumbling down. But I have a bunch of box sets, so I do have a lot of turtles.
Yeah,
it's just those are a pass, easy pass.
All right, yeah.
I don't have an April, and
I think
maybe
I'm not really. If I were getting a Ninja Turtles, I think I've mentioned this before. The only pack that I'd actually be interested in is that musical mutagens pack that came out a couple years ago.
That looks cool, yeah.
And the only reason is because I worked at Six Flags when they were doing the musical mutagens tour. So I was there at the theater when they were doing the tour, working like security or whatever.
Yeah.
What about these? Have you seen these?
Oh, those are beautiful. And I know they haven't sold out, which says something, because normally Mayfix is sold out in like a day. But they're beautiful for sure. But at the price point, I'm pretty happy with my Marvel Legends version.
Do you think that like part of it is, one, the price point, and two, it took them too long to put these out?
Hey,
right?
dude, stop. Yeah.
I mean, they're just not timely.
That's what people are saying, like, oh, come on, this is taking way too long. And then people are saying this has a cartoony head, Chris Evans there. But
yeah,
me personally, if I had unlimited like income, I'd be all in for sure.
Do you think people just don't remember? Do you think they just don't remember how young he looked in this film? Maybe
that's probably true too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, they're just both sick figures. And can you imagine, the posability of these guys?
These are Mayfix. Winter. It was.
So they're going to retail for about $60 each, but you're going to have to look at $30 to import it from Japan, or pay about $90 on Big Bad Toy Store.
I guess if you're like a Mayfix collector or a figure arts collector or something like that, and you didn't have these guys yet, that would totally be the way to go.
If you think about it, because the way Marvel Legends does it is they do whole waves, where Mayfix releases, it's only 2 figures a month, I believe, is all they do. 2 figures every single month. And then they do, re-releases. But that's cheaper than a wave of Marvel Legends. So, would I rather have these 2 figures or the whole, say, for example, that Concho wave with what would you rather have? I think I'd rather have these 2 figures over that whole wave, to be honest.
I agree. Yeah.
Because not only that, you get 10 hands, multiple head
sculpts.
With
these guys. Yeah. You got all the sculpts, the different heads. You can pose them. And these guys are very posable, right? Not like
and while we're on
and stuff like that.
Import figures, before you skip to the next one, you probably didn't bring this up, but they did cancel the Andrew Garfield head mold.
You know what? I was gonna put a slide in there and just ask, like, what do we think about that? Because I mean, it was announced that head was going to come with it, and then to come out and not do it, is it just because they couldn't get the rights to do the face?
Yeah, well, I think I think Andrew Garfield, maybe he's just one of those guys that feels really weird and doesn't want his face on. Or is he on a Hot Toys? I don't know. Let me know in the comments, if somebody knows if he's on a Hot Toys figure.
But do you think he's going to end up on like a Hasbro, or do you think that's why the Hasbro one doesn't have the unmasked heads?
I bet it's going to be a problem. Well, Hasbro, no, there's been a leak, and the guy's been right, like, on everything so far. I don't know if you remember, but in about November, some guy leaked the entire 2023 Marvel Legends releases. And everybody claims he's right, but they're going to have, how they're selling the 3-pack first, and they're scaring everybody by saying it's sold out, and then they're going to resell it, obviously, but they're going to sell them individually with unmasked heads. and that's where they're going to really screw people. And that's a Hasbro thing to do, man. You know?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's just their way to like double line their pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What about
But
these?
yeah, SH Figure Arts, no Andrew Garfield head mold, and they're lowered the price. I think it's like $47 now for just the figure, and I'm still in. I think I just would love the three of them together in that pose
Okay.
from the movie, you know, the famous pose. So
yeah, it is kind of cool to get like the Spider-Man in different
Hey.
looks, because like this is pretty much like my favorite Spider-Man right now. This is the Japanese version.
Oh
Japanese
yeah, I still
movie
have an
version.
open mind. That's a beautiful
I
one.
think this guy is like awesome. He really stands out on the shelf. That's the way I feel about it. Are you into any of these monster figures?
No, I've been passing. Yeah.
So I got the Frankenstein one, and I think this guy's actually kind of cool. I really like this head wrap where it's like unwrapping, but I kind of was trying to figure out, they should have come up with like, I think, a clear head to where he would be completely invisible wearing the hat. I don't know if that's what they did.
Maybe it is there and you just can't.
Yeah, and I just didn't pay that close of attention. If I missed that, let me know.
It's invisible.
Let's
That's
see.
why I can't see it.
That leaker dude has been 100% spot on the money.
Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about. Yeah. Really, and it's Legends team just haven't said anything about it. They just basically trying to hope it blows over, and I think it has at this point.
So what about this Rocketeer?
Oh, those are really cool. Yeah, if I was a super fan, I would get them. I bet you know who's not going to resist retro blasting. What's his name? French. Michael French is going to be all over those.
I think it's actually really cool. It's very stylized because this is obviously got that like 1940s feel to it, and I think they look really, really good. This, the figures. It's just a tough one for me because I think, how much was this, like $55 or something like that
for both, or each,
or was it more, something like that? I feel like
it's got to be for each. Yeah,
and I feel like I looked at it and said, oh no, that price is too high.
Yeah, but it's, I don't think we'll ever see anything that good and detailed. I mean, look at the guy's vest, you know what I mean? And then the girl, you can get the girl alone, and she's like one of those posters from the 60s.
Exactly. Yeah. So super Connor's telling me the Invisible Man's head is there. I just can't see it because it's invisible.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell Vern.
I think he's joking.
Yeah. No, it's in there. You just can't find it.
You just can't find it. You just drop it on the carpet and you're like done.
Yep.
Rocketeer. Okay.
Yeah, what scale is that? I don't know. I'm sure it's probably 6-inch.
6-inch scale. Yeah. What about I saw this on Stataverse's Twitter, so I pulled it up. I'm not.
Yeah, there's somebody getting early versions of these. Unparalleled Universe has videos of these and other figures from this brand, and they look really cool, man.
They're in the 1/10 scale, so they're actually pretty big, right? These would be like just under 12 inches tall. No, 1/10 scale. So yeah, a little bit bigger than the 6-inch. So probably like the Marvel Select sizing, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like that could be a really good scale if you wanted a big dude to like fight your creatures and you didn't want another Hulk or something like that, right? Yeah. I think that would be really cool. I kind of like it. I don't know. I might try one of these just because.
Man, I wish I had a third camera, and if we just filmed like these two dogs, I'm telling you.
You should just do a live stream with them.
Hey, you two, stop. Who should I take? I'll take you. Come on. I'll take you. You're a greedy Greta.
Now I know you're kidding.
Hey, she's getting bigger already, man.
Yeah, that's a cute puppy. So I thought you might be interested in these.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm completely out on these 5 POA things.
Oh, okay.
They look cool. I love them, but they're going to be, I think they go for like $20.
Yeah, like $18 or something like that. Yeah. I might be in for a Sid and Nancy.
Yeah.
Like if they did a Sid and Nancy pack, I might be in for something like that. But I don't know, just because was that time in your life or whatever.
You.
What about these? I think this is more turtle
Ooh.
stuff. But
Yeah,
man, this guy looks
really
freaking cool, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I
Who's
mean, that
that,
guy looks
NECA or
cool.
what?
Yeah, I think that's I think it's
Or
a
Super
NECA.
7? It might be Super 7, but yeah, it
It
looks
could
really
be.
good.
That's my problem because I'm taking the pictures, but I'm not really like, I should be paying more attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think he looks pretty cool because he's pretty beaten and torn. I think
Yeah.
just the way it looks there, but I wonder if these are like renderings.
It's okay, you.
You
It's
know,
okay.
that's the other half of the problem is if they're renderings, then you don't know what they're going to actually look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see if she'll go up here now on her own. You stay here.
Somebody's asking how I'm trying to sound like a puppy. Gap saying, how do I throw my voice to sound like a puppy? Have you not seen my videos where I'm doing all kinds of like fancy accents?
Yep. Hey, you guys, come on, give me a break. Where's my wife and kids when I need them,
Yep.
But I got one in a Christmas sweater. Ooh. If you like that better.
It's not Christmas anymore.
I know. It was cold this morning, though. I had to take my daughter to work. Hey, no, you don't climb on this computer. Okay.
All right. We'll just move on.
Boy, come on.
What about
mate.
this? Are you interested in any of these?
Oh, yeah. I love them. And I think that's the same people that make that Red Sonja that's coming out.
Yeah, it's
But I haven't bought any. I have not bought
I haven't
any.
either, and I look at them, I'm kind of like,
Hey, they're buddies.
the thing is, they
fight all the
announced these,
time.
I think, a year ago, right? But they're
don't eat her.
getting ready to ship is the reason why you start seeing the pictures again, because
Yeah.
they didn't sell out originally. Now they have a 12-inch figure, Muerta figure or whatever, the Day of the Dead or whatever, and that one looks really cool. I wish they would make that one in a 6-inch figure.
Yeah. Sorry for laughing. I was reading Dandy's comments. He goes, Sean, you got my dog barking too. And my cat's staring at me. That's so funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. Have you seen these McFarlanes or whatever?
Oh, yeah. Really cool. People were really pumped about that one.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see the Robin that they showed today from
I
like
did
the
not see that one.
60s Batman and Robin? Oh, it's so good. And I'll definitely be getting that. It's a gold label, which sucks.
So are you interested in any of these? Because I think if you're
People are gonna go
McFarlane,
nuts about that. I didn't see that. What is that, Mantis or something like that? The
yeah,
other
Black
one?
Mantis
That's
looks
so
awesome.
cool.
These
That is
ones got announced
amazing.
together, so that's like the
Mhm.
Aquaman Ocean Master here. Check this one out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they all look fantastic. The only problem is I just wish they were in a 6-inch scale.
Yeah. The comment section is dynamite.
Well, they're all about your puppy, dude. Black Mantis.
But yeah, I don't go too deep into McFarlane. I did see one of those Avatar figures on the pegs though yesterday, and oh my gosh, if I can find the girl and the main guy Sully, I might pick those up. But they looked fantastic. This is the first time I've ever seen one in the store. That looks really cool, huh?
Yeah.
What is it, like an underwater? Is that an Aquaman enemy or something? Or
they're all Aquaman themed. I think they're all from like comics.
Yeah.
Right. They look like they're from the comics. What about these?
Oh, those are cool. Yeah.
The Mezco. The problem is I couldn't figure out how tall they were supposed to be, and the articulation doesn't really seem to be there.
Yeah.
But if you're a big Josie and the Pussycats,
go up there.
I'm sure you'll want these, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's Gap. Meow.
Yeah. There, both of you guys go up there. One more chance. Hey, right off the bat. Dang,
right? They're just going to fight. Okay, so now we got the Marvel reveals for this week, and I think I posted quite a few pictures, like just making fun of this dude. The bow and arrow is I have that already with that Daniel Moonstar figure. And then
Vern, I'm really sorry, bro. Hold on.
And then the arrow sheath is been reused a bunch of times, but I'd like to know what like the chat thinks. I mean, do you guys think that this is something you're going to want in your collection? Because I look at it and I just think, okay, they just repainted a body. I think they could have done a lot more for a first time putting Yondu in a 6-inch. This version in a 6-inch. They did have them in a 3.75-inch scale, right? They had this guy in the
Whoa. Sorry, man. Yeah, I know. That is a cool figure, though. I got a break from one of my dogs right now. Oh, the other one wants to get out. Come on, come here. Oh, boy.
If they
Sorry,
did it,
chat.
they had done this exact one in a 3.75 inch. But this is the first 6-inch one. And I think I just think they took the super easy route on this, and they just didn't, they didn't. I think they could have did a little bit more.
Yeah, easy pass, especially now. This, if it had like a windowed box and you walked in the store and you saw it in packaged through the window,
That might be
pull
different.
the trigger,
That might be
because
different.
it does look cool.
Now I know me and Brian were not going to agree on these, and
Yeah.
he's going to want this because
he buys everything. Brian.
Because he's a Marvel Legends, right? Like I
Yeah.
understand, and I totally
Hardcore.
understand it, right? It is a good version of him. This is like right from the comic books. I mean, I think they hit the look and stuff like that. I just wish, like, if they were, to me, when they're going to put somebody first time in a like Legends or whatever in that version, I feel like, make them a new arrow sheet that you haven't seen before or something like that.
Do we know the MSRP? I know.
I think 25.
They're already talk. Yeah, the chat's ahead of us on this. I doubt 25. No way.
You think that's going to be more?
Yeah, because it doesn't. Does it have a Build-A-Figure piece? I don't think so. And that
See,
means
that's
it's
the other thing
exclusive.
too. Is like, it doesn't look like a Build-A-Figure.
Yeah,
is in there. Otherwise, you might see the part on there, right? Like, I don't know.
Yep. Don't be brave and jump off. That's one nice thing, is this small one is afraid to jump off the bed still. Yeah. So
all right,
she's trapped.
So then Hyperion and
ass grab.
Dr. Spectrum. Now this is
ridiculous.
This is the one I read
the next level.
This is the one I renamed Marvel Duds. Let's see. I agree. He's like Hawkeye reskin, but the boots are the same as well. It's $24.99.
No way. So maybe they're finally changing.
And no Build-A-Figure on the package. And the thing is, this is kind of an interesting situation, right? Because they had the Hyperion before, but they haven't done the Dr. Spectrum. So they did this double pack. And obviously, to me, they did the double pack because this Dr. Spectrum, I don't think could carry a $25 price tag on his own in a box. Yeah. So I think that's one of the reasons why they did this double pack, right? So
I know. If you walked in the store and a kid picked up that multicolored one and gave it to their parents, they'd be like, "Are you smoking crack?" For real.
Yeah.
That's like a $12 figure right there.
I think I made fun of Spectrum earlier this week. He looks like one of those spinning wheels, the little prize wheels to me.
Yeah.
Or like a pie chart. I'm going to call him like pie chart man.
Yeah.
But I know people who wanted these.
Yeah. Yep. People were glad they were digging deep, because that's what some people do.
Exactly,
they want
so,
everything. Like Brian probably, because I watch his channel a lot especially because he seems to be getting everything early. But man, I'll be watching for those.
So here's the Hyperion, and in the middle I got the picture of the new one, and on the ends I have the picture of the old one, right? And you can see that they did modify the cape a little bit, and then the face is actually completely different. And I'm like,
that's the Toy Biz, right? And then they claimed it was the very first 6-inch, and like people were posting pictures of an older 6-inch version.
Yeah, this is the one that I found. I don't know if I have this one somewhere in a tote. Here. I might have one because the cape looks super familiar.
Yes.
But I mean, at least they went ahead and they made some changes to the midsection, the way it was painted up and stuff like that. So I mean, there's enough difference, and I think it's a good update, right? But
yeah, definitely.
It's not for me, because these characters don't, have anything. Oh, let's see. Hyperion looks like a bad Mr. Incredibles cosplay. I would agree with that. This is an early Hasbro one. Used the same body as Sentry.
Let's see if this drives the dogs wild in that.
Okay, well, it's driving me wild. All right, let's see. And then here's the Dr. Spectrum. So on the end here is the actual Hasbro one. The one holding the diamond is the Hasbro. These other pictures I pulled off this site called Figure Realm, and these are people's customs. And I think they look pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's
that's
like,
very impressive.
I mean, so obviously people are out there and they do want the figure. So for that, I think like, yeah, it's okay. I mean, I can't complain too much because obviously there's people that want these characters, and I'm glad that they're making them. But for me, it's not. I'm not into them at all, and
Yeah.
I think it's completely lazy. I
No,
mean, look
yeah.
at look at the arm on the Hasbro one. He's holding up the diamond. What do you notice? The joint is blue. They couldn't even make
under his
that
arm.
piece. They
Yeah.
couldn't even make that piece yellow.
hmm
You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it, because when he's got his arms down, they want it to match the blue, but I think that they could have done something there. I don't know.
Yeah, but even retro Spider-Man, he had blue where it was supposed to be red and red where it was
Yeah.
supposed to be blue.
Let's see. Oh, these guys are saying it's Uno, man.
Yeah. That's great. I like it.
Draw 2, draw 4. Oh man, you guys are funny. Uno, man. Okay, and then this is one of the new Dungeons and Dragons release, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
one, the artwork on the box looks awesome. This is a photo from the movie poster,
Yeah.
right? Looks awesome, and I think the artwork kind of matches that photo. But this figure right here, to me, I don't think it looks anything like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't wait to see the movie myself, but unless it gets like really bad reviews. But I've seen them in store, and yeah, I'm not going to pick up any of these.
It's hard, right? Because you're just looking at a box and you're like, man, I can't see what the actual figure looks
Yeah,
like. And then you're like,
absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, this box would fool you, because if you're looking at that picture on the box, you're thinking this is going to be one badass figure.
Mhm.
And then you pull this other thing out and you're like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyways. Okay. So then, of course, I'm just going to
Which
end
brings
this
us to the
slideshow.
Hasbro thing, or what? Are you done with
No,
the
it's going to
slides?
be February 1st. So that's coming up
Boy.
this week on Wednesday, I think. And it's going to be a 7 in the morning, 11 Eastern, or whatever, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And it's going to be Star Wars specific. And I'm just wondering, does anybody have any predictions on what we're going to see in the Star Wars stream? I know they said that they were going to have some Black Series announcements and some Vintage Collection announcements. I'm guessing there's probably not going to be a HasLab wrapped up in this one, but
I think we will see a HasLab, only because I think that Vintage Collection Jabba's palace with the throne and all that stuff, I think that was like a secret HasLab of a test. They wanted to see how many units it would sell, and it took a year for them to
do you
build.
think that if it's a HasLab prediction or a HasLab, do you think they just tease it? Because I think that they would want to do it a solo video for a HasLab.
Oh, maybe, I guess you're right. Who knows? Who knows what we're gonna see? More Return of the Jedi, because they did hint that
Sure.
out. I think we're gonna probably maybe see that Vader finally.
You
with the
think
multiple masks.
the split helmet
Yeah,
from Kenobi?
maybe.
I think that the Vader we're gonna get is the repack of that removable helmet Vader that they've already released a long time ago, and it'll just be repackaged in a 40th anniversary card. And maybe we see the Scout Trooper on a card, the guy with the beard. And then I don't predict that we'll see. I predict that we will not get any new characters from Return of the Jedi other than what's already been kind of teased with that Scout Trooper guy or whatever, right? Like, and Wicket or whatever. We're not going to get any more Ewoks. We're not going to get Nine Numb. We're not going to get anything like that. That's my guess. But for
Yeah, and
Vintage
it's a
Collection,
shame because people want like Emperor Palpatine's throne. They've been begging and crying for that re-release. maybe we'll get that finally. That'd be cool because they have the mold sitting somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe. And I'm hoping though that like
Oh yeah,
what I
you're right, Brian.
what
Brian's a smart cat, man.
yeah. Yeah, that's true, right? Because they've revealed them, so they'll just show them. So let's see. Joseph saying split helmet Vader is a repaint. That makes sense. I'm not, yeah, that one where his helmet comes off. I don't think that we'll get the one from Kenobi at all. I think that's still half a year away at best. Nine Numb would be cool, but I don't think that's going to happen. An Ewok glider maybe
yeah.
for the vintage collection, but definitely not for a Black Series.
You know what I'm almost going to put money on is repaints for the Bad Batch. You know, how easy is that for them? And they're so used to doing that. They'll have a new Omega, Hunter, Rex. Well, not Rex, but the whole gang.
I can see that because like sorry. I can see that redoing the Bad Batch since the season is current right now, right? And maybe maybe offering up the new Omega or something like that.
And not only that, Hunter is $100 on the aftermarket, man. Can you believe it?
Who?
Hunter he's $100 on eBay.
Holy smoke!
Selling
I did not
steady
know that.
between 75 to 100.
Wow,
crazy. And I've got an extra one, so I was like,
You're thinking about it, aren't you? Okay, let's see. I'm going to take this off while we talk about it. Yeah, some people were predicting like fan outrage. I think that's a given anytime Star Wars development team does anything. That's pretty cool, Miss Menace Clock. Fan outrage for Star Wars is, I think, like given nowadays, right? Like you're going to have half the people who want to talk about Star Wars just up in arms no matter what. I'll probably yeah.
I think things may be changing though. Did you see that Disney Plus commercial today with Rosario Dawson? And they're talking about, you know, I don't know if you can pull that up and play it. I don't think there's any music, but it put tears in my eyes, bro. It really made me want to cry. So
no, I didn't see that. What was that?
It's just like a kid, and he's went to go see Star Wars for the first time, and then he's playing with the toys with his friends, and then he goes and meets his first wife at the Phantom Menace, and then you know they have a kid together, and they're sitting on the couch watching Disney Plus, and it's very like family and wholesome, and maybe it's a sign of things to come that they're finally going to change and listen to fans, because that is what it's about, you know, is about sharing down all these experiences. I'm going to keep muting myself on and off so you guys don't have to hear that.
Okay. Well, I think like we should move on into talking about this like 15% staffing layoff over at Hasbro. I know like I kind of jokingly tweeted that I can, instead of 15% of the staff, you can cut 15% that pay by maybe axing off some of these guys from the brand accounts that, you know, really don't listen to anybody or care what anybody has to say, and maybe get somebody in that isn't making so much, but you know, that really can put more motivation into the line. I don't know. I think I put up a picture of Patrick and that team on the Indiana Jones is what I did.
Yeah, that's the problem with Black Series is there's so many holes that it's not like the Vintage Collection. And then Vintage Collection people are still saying how they're getting shafted and the Black Series isn't. I mean, I think we, you know, last year, how many waves were like really on pegs? We had the Lando wave, and it sold out right away. And after that, there was just Lando. And then who was the wave after that with the song guys? That's it. We got like 2 waves in stores. Where Vintage Collection, I'm sure we saw the Kenobi wave. We saw, anyway, most people in chat here don't collect Vintage Collection. So.
You think so? Let's ask in the chat who collects Vintage Collection in the chat.
I know
because
I'll tell you now. We've got Super Awesome Geek Show does. Maybe G-Force Racing. I wonder. I don't think anybody in the chat does.
Does Super Awesome just collect old toys though?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jonathan's saying 15% cuts are going to come from its media divisions, which it's getting rid of. I
I
could
knew
see that.
GeForce did.
And Connor's like, job cuts going across the U.S., all big companies at the moment.
I
Yeah, you can't read it in
know.
it has it. Yeah, it looks like they're talking about I mean, politically, if this debt ceiling thing doesn't get raised and we default on
Mhm.
like our loans and stuff like that, that's going to be have a huge impact on
Yeah, and the price of everything
jobs
is
and stuff
going
like
up
that.
like crazy, man. Everything.
Yeah, hopefully they won't. They'll take some of the money they save by getting rid of some of this staff, and they'll move it over into like quality control. I don't know
Yeah.
if you saw my Recondo, but like this leg is still so tight. I've done everything right,
Mhm.
but like right here at the boot line, you can
Yeah.
see like there's a
Oh, yeah, I
space
saw your
permanently
video,
because
yeah.
this thing just completely popped off.
Mhm.
And
Now are you gonna contact Hasbro? They're gonna be like, "This guy again."
you know the thing is like I'm gonna chalk this up to not every figure can be perfect.
Yeah.
It
That's
doesn't
what you
fall
said
off.
in your review, so that's what I figured you were gonna do.
Yeah. It
Let him
doesn't fall off.
slide.
Yeah, it doesn't fall off on its own. He
Mhm.
still stands on it, still poses fine. It's not like, it I would really have to pull to like pop it out. So,
Yeah.
it's just like a it's like getting a little tiny scratch on the rear bumper of your car or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Edmonton, Stormtrooper collects vintage.
Mhm. And I knew
Gap,
Dino did. I don't know why I didn't see Dino. He hadn't been chatting
yeah,
for a while. I
Gap,
guess he's
Gap's does both.
watching.
G-Force, uh,
So who's
yeah,
Gap After Dark?
Buffalo,
Isn't that Josh, I think?
yeah, Gap here, and then Geek Strong. Let's see,
Oh, Zero Hunters in here?
yeah, we said hi to him earlier.
Hmm.
Hasbro rebranded itself as a media studio company, not a toy company, so they can produce films and streaming TV easier. That is correct because uh, they produced that Stretch Armstrong cartoon for Netflix. And that went under their like part of their media division. I just don't know how well it's doing. All those other things, but I think that's the same as everything, right? Like, isn't Disney having a hard time with their Disney Plus? Supposedly.
Yeah,
Let's see.
that's what I heard, man. I think they're really, and I think that's why things are changing. Like that Disney Plus commercial I was telling you about. Uh, I think it's time, man, because how many flops have they had in a row? They had that one. Strange World was a huge flop.
Yeah,
Lightyear was a flop. I mean, these movies that usually would come close to $1 billion aren't doing so well.
they're not doing well. Um, Dino saying he's late. He wants a recap. I will give you a recap. There's a button at the bottom of your video, and then the slider pops up. Just grab that little dot and move it all the way to the
Yeah,
left.
yeah. We just talked about releases so far, so yeah, guys ain't missed nothing.
Yeah, yeah. We just went through the releases and kind of
Mhm.
talked about them. Let's see.
Yeah, but in all reality, with
Porno.
Hasbro,
Yeah.
I have cut back so much and started buying imports and stuff where that money could have went to Hasbro if they would give us quality. Uh, and that's just what it comes down to. And a reason why I have another Hunter and I've got another Spider-Man, because I've been thinking about selling like these two guys, but I'm never going to do that again. You know what I mean? Who's going to buy
Yep.
two figures anymore?
Nobody.
So,
Well,
absolutely.
rarely.
It's
Dave's
crazy.
talking. We were talking about the QC. We mentioned the QC because I was saying like hopefully they add some more people into the quality control, and he's saying he's talking about Geek Dad Life did a review of D&D figures. I think all of us did reviews of D&D figures, and pretty
Mhm.
much we all kind of had similar experiences with those D&D
Yeah.
figures. They're just
I
not
had
that good.
mine would have broken, but I
Yeah,
heated mine up and they worked. So, and I'm very happy, man. And they haven't fell down yet. I have them on display and I love them. So I feel so bad for people that are breaking them. And you would think that that guy geeked out. I'm gonna watch his video later. I have it like watch later.
yeah.
You would think he would have heated them up, man, with his experience.
Yeah, like to me, I had my blow dryer ready to go. So
Mhm. So I'm not
even
gonna
with that,
re-release those. Once these are gone, they're if yours are in working condition, the value on them suckers are gonna go up so high.
yeah, possibly. And I haven't seen them in stores at all. So
I
out
haven't
here,
either.
so I know people have been seeing them in stores, but I haven't.
Mhm. Yeah, those or Avatar. I have seen the movie Dungeons and Dragons, but
So
I just
Dino
hope they
had it.
make the rest of the gang.
With quality control, Dino did that video on his ET and the bike
That was
broke.
heartbreaking.
And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, dude. Because when I opened my Back to the Future Marty McFly and I was pulling the guitar out of the package, the arm almost broke.
I remember
Right.
that video. Yeah.
And so some of this stuff is just not, it's not built,
It's your fault. I spent
it is.
$100 on Back to the Future toys.
Oh, Hasbro won't see profits from toys. Yeah. This is going to be like a really, I think it's going to be like a really weird situation because you see that people are just not buying the action figures anymore, and they're going to cut people, and if they cut them from their toy lines and figure lines, then you're going to see less and less product out there, and then it's like a cycle situation, right, for collectors, because then you're going to be in a world where like things are scarce, or maybe there's just not as much to collect. And then what, right? So catch 22, you didn't go buy everything that was on the shelf, and now we're not going to produce stuff for the shelves. And there was some conversation going on in one of the message groups earlier talking about, was Hasbro possibly doing direct to consumer and just cutting out big box retailers or whatever. Is kind of like the thought. Could be, right? I mean, it started with that Hasbro Pulse membership or whatever, and whether or not that's like a good deal.
Yeah.
And
I don't think that's ever going to happen though, because every Walmart and Target I go in, the toy aisles are always packed. I would say mostly adults and teenagers or parents with their little kids picking something out. So I don't think that's ever going away.
To me, it's almost like if they don't have product in stores, how are they ever going to capture new collectors?
Yeah.
Right? Like, because your casual shopper who's in a store and then walks down the aisle and sees like the Star Wars Black Series for the first time, or vintage collection on that card for the first time, or a Legends figure or something like that for the first time, and says, oh man, this is super cool. And they pick it up, they get home, and then they go, man, this is really cool. And then they start thinking about like, oh, he just bought Captain America or something. I was like, oh, you know what? I want an Iron Man to go with this. And then they start looking for an Iron Man, and then, they're bought and sold, basically. You know what I mean? And
yeah, which is where they're screwing up. And they keep restocking these stupid things like, those 5 POA, I think they're 5-inch Star Wars. Every day when I go in there, you see cases of those coming out. They just keep bringing them in. People are buying them. And I think that's what parents want, is $10 figures to pacify their kids.
So John's saying to make Star Wars in 2.5-inch scale and do them as detailed as Mask is. And he says serious adult detail, but in small format, so the costs stay low. And the thing is like, I have such a hard time at the 3.75-inch scale because I don't want to wear my glasses when I'm looking at my figures.
Yeah, I can speak to that. That's why I took all my 3.75-inch down and I put them in a little storage thing for now, because they don't pose well. The newer ones do with the rocker ankles and stuff, and then the weapons are so tiny, and the amount of time it takes to pose a 6-inch figure versus a 3.75, it is huge. So I think that whole decision, going strictly 3.75, unless you're like on card and you stick it on one of those little bases and they're just standing there, that's cool because you can display more. But if you play with your figures, it ain't gonna work, man.
And doing photography, right? Like, I don't know, with a vintage collection, I don't buy that many, and most of them will just stay on the card anyways, because that's really why I'm buying it, because it just looks cool, like on the card. I've opened a few, but for me, I mean, like, unless I go get like eye surgery, I got to put my glasses on to really see those details.
And you're for real, bro. I got some glasses myself. I have to wear them.
Yeah.
Even for 6-inch figures.
I've done that thing where like I've done a review and talked about the figures, and this is probably why my reviews don't get a whole lot of views. I'll like review a figure and talk about it, and then when I watch it back, it's in HD and on a big screen. On a bigger screen, and I'll notice stuff that I didn't notice when I was actually holding the figure, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's really like detailed in there.
And that's another reason why I like to do reviews too, is because I do notice more while I'm doing the review, and I'm sure everybody that does YouTube can agree on that.
Yeah. So I'd be interested to know, like, from these guys, like Connor and them, where they've moved the classified in the UK to pulse only. I mean, how is that going? I mean, like, do you find that the figures you want are like readily available?
Yeah.
That
But
type
see,
of
UK
stuff.
is not like America though. There's not like a Walmart, every couple miles
Yeah, they don't need
where
a
they're gonna
Walmart
sell.
because they have dedicated like toy stores.
But where I lived, in Newmarket, England, for example, you couldn't get a toy like that, man, anywhere. So you
Yeah,
had to drive to either Cambridge or London, which is quite a ways. London was 2 hours away, and Cambridge was, I think, like 40 minutes. So, but most of these guys live in big cities, like close to Dublin, probably,
yeah.
where, of course, you can find toy stores and stuff. So, yeah, it would suck, but I'm sure financially it probably just doesn't make sense to, being like that. Where I think Australia, they actually have Walmarts, don't they? They're called Big W's or something. I don't know. I heard Usual Mike talk about it a lot.
I think this is my plan with kids picking up a figure and then realizing they need an Iron Man or something like that. And
Mhm.
yeah, unless they're repacking and repainting, which I complain about all the time, right? Like they'd have to go to the secondary market to pick up that
Yep.
Iron Man.
Which is why I was saying, how we talked last week, those
Yeah,
retro collection Marvel Legends for the Hulk, Wolverine,
yeah.
Spider-Man, they're re-releasing those, and that's great because they're $10. Parents can pick them up for their kids, and I think that's ultimately what Hasbro wants.
So Jonathan's got an interesting point, right? He's saying that like Hasbro's prices have gone up, but McFarlane, NECA, and the import brands have pretty much
Mhm.
stayed the same. So those McFarlanes are an inch taller than like the Black Series and Legends, but those prices haven't moved, right? And then if you look at the Fortnite figures, which come from Hasbro, those haven't really went up either. And Mattel's still selling the wrestling figures for pretty much the same price. So it's an interesting situation where you're thinking
Mhm.
like, why is Hasbro's prices driving up when they're
Yeah.
saying it's their costs or whatever, when other companies aren't feeling that same push to
Yep,
like raise
and then they
prices. So
dropped their NBA ones, lowered them to 29 instead of 59.
yeah.
So,
Well, I think that they had to do that because they're just not selling, right?
well, they were hoping, I guess, these sports guys would buy them and start getting into collecting somehow.
Yeah,
The ones that wear, rings, necklaces, hats, jackets,
sure.
shirts. But no, they aren't buying because first of all, they aren't accurate. At $50, they should have their tattoos and stuff. We've got the laser printing technology available. Sure, they could just go bzzz and have it on there.
So with those sports figures, I wonder if it's just like the athletes that they've done. I mean, I haven't seen any that I'm actually. Well, I think if they could go
Mhm.
back, you know, I need to.
I
I need
want
to. s-
Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman. Give me
Man,
those 3.
I want.
That's
I
all I
want.
want.
You know, Larry Bird.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Give me some of the
yeah,
greats.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Man, similar to Hasbro. Oh, are they? I haven't. I guess I haven't looked at the WWE Elites, but I
Yeah,
mean,
Mattel has gone up a little bit. Same
have
with
they?
Masters of the Universe.
Okay,
Went up
so
about
I was wrong on
$2.
that. All right, I was wrong on that. The cost increase is why we never saw the new mask line come out. It could be. Figures went up about $3. There
Yeah,
you
Mask
go.
is really niche though, man.
Bull
That's like really,
Bills.
really.
So is that starting lineup going to move into like baseball and football? Did they ever
They're
announce that they
doing
were
a
going to do that
football.
stuff?
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know where I read it, but yeah, football's coming.
Yeah, so I saw I was gonna show this GI Joe picture. They did announce like some GI Joe stuff what the other day or whatever, and I wanted to pull up a picture, but it's fine. I'm not going to do it now. I tried to make that PowerPoint presentation last night so I can like encompass stuff, but I know that like because I was going back and I should have been working on it through the week and I didn't really get to it, so
Yeah.
um, I may have missed stuff. But I think it's interesting, to think about like, the price increase, how it's affecting everybody. And I mean, like you say you're cutting back, right? But then I
Oh yeah.
see,
Mhm.
but the thing is, I see you with like these higher priced
Yeah,
figures and
absolutely,
stuff like
man.
that. Is that what you're doing? Is like you're just not getting as much as
You know,
Hasbro stuff, but you're investing in,
beautiful, you know.
yeah.
And MSRP is I think like $90 for this. So beautiful. But why would Hasbro $37, $40 shipping for a Spider-Man without all his hands?
Oh, well,
Crazy.
just for that Boba Fett, if that Boba
Mhm.
Fett was right now, I mean, like the one that's in stores is what, like 36 to $40 just for that Return of the Jedi Fett on card. It doesn't
Yeah,
make any sense, right?
no.
Like, and then you want to add like a a chair on top of that. I'm sure, you know, that's going to put you into the $60 to $70 price range.
Mhm.
A few years ago, they came out with the Emperor and his chair, and the thing was, I don't even think it was $50.
It came with 4 heads and stuff,
Yeah,
lightning
different
hands.
hands, the lightning effects and stuff like that. It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was like 29.99 or something like that. I may
Yeah.
be wrong on the price, but I feel like
They
that's
had to
the
blow it
case.
out. They couldn't get rid of that Emperor and the throne.
Yeah, it's so weird, right? Because like I got two of them. I pre-ordered and I got two of them. I opened one and I kept one, and I listed I was trying to like resell it just to make a little bit off of it. And
Yeah.
I think I barely made like $10 on the thing. And I wish I would have just like boxed it and like pulled it out today, right? Because then
Yeah.
and I probably could have got what I wanted for it. But it's okay. Let's see. Hold on. I was in class at CWC channel. I'm a newbie to YouTube. Captain Spaulding.
What's up, Captain?
Seeing we don't. Yeah, they're talking about how like uh, in the chat they were saying like uh, the boom from like 2020 because people aren't staying home as much anymore. So it's like when you couldn't go anywhere, you had more expendable income
Yeah.
because you just weren't going to dinners and stuff like that. Because cooking at home and staying at home and watching a movie on movie night,
Yeah.
sorry, makes a big difference, right? I
Yeah.
remember when we bought our first house, I remember like thinking like, oh man, this is going to be really tight. And then for the first 4 or 5 months, I think we were home like all the time, even like on the weekends. Cause when you first move into a house, you're like, we're going to cook, we're going to do this, we're going to movie nights and all that kind of stuff. And then it was just amazing how much money we didn't spend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think people that, when now that things are loosening up, you're going out again, you're going to dinner, maybe going to the movies, and that money that
Mhm.
you had sitting around that you would have bought a bunch of figures is
Yeah.
going to other
And
stuff.
then, everything costs going up on everything, eggs,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
What are
really,
eggs now
I think they're almost $10, man, like $8 or something
for a
for
dozen?
12. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think I got lucky because 2 weeks ago I ended up buying like the flat at Costco. It
Mhm.
was like two flats of eggs,
Yeah.
and I think it was like $8 or something like that.
Ooh, damn.
And so I still have some of those, more than half of them because we don't eat that many eggs. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to do this thing where I was like, because we're going to talk about Darth Vader today, and I was going to do this thing where anytime you hear the word Vader, you pour yourself a drink and take a drink.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's the figure of the week, right? Darth Vader. And you were going to do research and tell us all about Darth Vader this
Yeah,
week.
no, I got mine are better than yours though. I have the vintage collection, the new one,
Mine are
the Dark
better than
Times. You don't have
yours.
it, and I've got the hyper real Vader
Okay, well
up
let's
here.
break them out. Let's see them.
Oh, he's too tucked in there, but he's.
No, this is the show, dude.
I don't even know where Vader is, to be honest with you.
You can't say you got all these like great Vaders and
this
not
guy out.
show
Let me
them
see if I
off.
can get him without breaking anything. Oh no! Yeah, I knew. No,
That's the
he
hyper
just lost
rail.
his lightsaber. Yeah, that's a hyper real, but he still
Okay.
holds up really good.
Is that posable
Absolutely.
or is that just a statue?
Absolutely, dude. All posable. You know, it's wire joints underneath.
Oh, okay.
Just super, super sick figure, man. Very, very cool.
And that's a cloth outfit?
Yep. And he was like, what, $20 at one point. And it comes with like 10 hands. I guess they tried to do the Hot Toys route on him. But very, very cool. If you can ever pick it up. I never did buy the Luke because they dropped the ball on Luke, man. You know,
I think those were on sale at one point, right?
they were $25, dude. $25.
Let's see this other Vader that you
is.
said is like better than all of mine.
I have no idea where it is.
Come on, dude.
But he's very tiny, and he comes with loads of hands. So let me see if I can. I don't think I can find him, bro. Cannot. Yeah, I'm not gonna find him. Oh yeah, here he is, maybe.
See, I knew he could find it. You can't like drop a thing and say, I got all the best Vaders, but I'm not going to show you.
Yeah. I can show you this one. I don't know which one this one is. I got two here. I just can't find the 3.75 inch, which really is the best figure. In fact, that Unparalleled Universe, he rated it #1 figure of 2022. But there's this guy and this guy.
Okay, where are those from? Which ones are those?
This is A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. Oh no, okay. Dark Times and Empire Strikes Back. Yeah.
All right.
But those are cool. But yeah, the 3.75, they home run that sucker.
Okay, Vader's kind of like an iconic character because, of course, you know, when you think about the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, you realize that I think it's almost like the story of Vader, right? When you first saw the original trilogy, it's kind of like the story of Luke, but I almost think it's kind of like the second half of Vader's arc, right? Like, because it's combined. And so I think being such an iconic character like that, how many Darth Vader items do you have in your room besides just those figures? Because I have,
I've got a lot.
Look, I got a Lego Vader, right? I got this dude right here.
Yeah.
That spits out candy. I mean, it's almost like anything they can stick Vader on. I do have this one.
True.
And this is the one with the removable helmet, right?
Yeah, I don't have that.
And then I do have this one that I did the split helmet on.
Yeah, that's really cool too.
And then I did take one of my Vader heads off and I put an Anakin head on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just because I thought that might be kind of an interesting idea if he never had that fight off. I do have a New Hope one still in card, but it's kind of buried. I didn't want to take everything off that shelf, kind of like you. And here's my vintage.
Yeah, kind of. But you made me do it. Okay. Knock everything down.
What?
You made me have a big old tumble. You're like, I don't want to knock everything down.
Well,
I'll show you. Junky Vaders. This is how bad they are. Like people buy as gifts. I'll show you some here.
Okay, hold on. Here's my vintage Kenner.
Yep. Oh, I got him too. Yeah. Lots of them. Yeah. It's crazy how many Vaders they have, and people still want Vader. You know.
Yeah.
But do you have this guy?
I don't. Well, yeah, I just showed you.
No, this is one of those toys from like Big Lots or something. My mom bought them for me, and his like armor comes off and he becomes like I think regular Anakin. Yeah, the whole thing.
That's pretty cool, actually.
And you got this one? Bet you don't have this guy. Ho, 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 ho. He was like $3 on clearance once.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like maybe $3 at one point, but that's really cool.
Those were expensive. Those were expensive in stores.
And then this is a great one. Super John sold me on this. Whoa, this is what they need to bring back out.
You know, I have a couple of those, but I couldn't find them for this.
I am your father, Vern.
Yeah.
You will obey me.
That helmet almost looks like
yeah, that's why I loved it. The concept art.
Yeah, hold on. All right.
But I like
because you gave me a hard time.
I couldn't resist that when it was on sale. I was like, oh heck yeah. I haven't got a big Zed from the dollar store. Anybody got one of those? You do. Oh, I'm Zed. I got Vader plushies. You know, I got little Vader plushies my daughter bought me. I wonder where that is, actually. I love that little plushie she bought me. But I guess they're cool things, you know, the little Star Wars knickknacks that people buy you.
Oh, no, it's not where I thought it was.
Yeah, put the gimmicks away. That's exactly what they are, man. Like some kids that we watch, you know, they bought me this thing for Christmas. I don't even know what it is. I ain't opened it yet. I guess a Mandalorian coffee mug. But I would put on the Mandalorian, like brainwash her kids. And they loved Baby Yoda. And I guess on Black Friday, they had the $25 Eat 'em Munchin Grogu. I got them one each for Christmas. They're going to be Star Wars fans. That's really cool. What are you doing, Vern?
I was trying to. So I have some of these Star Wars carded figures, and I was looking for the New Hope Vader that I still have on card. But this is the newest one that I have here.
Which one's that? I can't see you. Oh yeah, I picked that up. You had to get that one, man. You know.
Yeah, with the freestanding saber.
Yeah, I think that's the only one out of that wave that I bought. That, and I'm gonna have to get Kenobi before.
Yeah, you got to get the Kenobi if you're gonna have that Vader.
But like, there's one figure I was like, oh, even I got it for $21 recently. I still regret it, man, and I wish I wouldn't have bought it. Is that a B2 or whatever? You know, the big yellow droid. I don't know why I even bought that on sale.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, later, John. Take care, man. Be safe. Thanks for hanging.
So Eric saying episodes 1 through 6.
My daughter, we did a Sonic shelf because, you know, I'm trying to clean up. Like, I got my clones finally set up. And I've got like the Bad Batch and a couple others up on the top. But it's gonna start looking cool around here. Yeah. So I can start showing off to everybody. It's gonna get there.
Episodes 1 through 6 make up the tragedy of Anakin Skywalker. Let's see. So I'd like to know, like, how
are we in bragging camp now?
Yeah.
Dude, look at your room, okay? Get out of here, G-Force. Bragging camp.
Right.
He's behind this like entire room. You can't even see an inch of the white wall. You know what I mean? It's just covered in action figures. So I'm wondering, who's that other guy? 1,000 Ghosts, man. And Dino. Who else has these massive collections?
Dino has like a
awesome
geek separate. Show. I wonder if that room is even attached to the house, or if it's like a separate thing, or what that room is, because it's not a basement for sure.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah, the sideshow Grogu. I was a sucker. Yeah. I don't know why I got that thing.
So
it's amazing. Little hair and stuff.
I was looking up this thing, and so I went to some website, because I didn't do this before, but this website claims that Darth Vader had a rank. Does anybody know what that rank is? Supposed to be?
Lord.
Yeah, they said so. It's these are like obscure facts. So I'm sure that like people are probably, oh well, you Googled it, I'm going to Google it, but I'm just curious if anybody off the top of their head knew what they had, what his rank was, or title.
I just thought it was Lord Vader, man. Always.
Yeah. So this thing said it's emissary of the Emperor. I don't know if that's really a title or a rank.
Yeah. Well, he's like his sidekick, really, huh?
Yeah.
Well, what was he? Number one knight, basically.
Because supposedly he had multiple secret apprentices. I don't know who they are, but supposedly, and that's my problem, right? Like, I didn't read a whole bunch of like Star Wars books, and then maybe just the comics. But the thing is, if you read like books, at some point they said, oh, those books don't count anymore. Yeah. some of the stuff you think you know about like Vader maybe isn't necessarily the truth anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But I think does everybody have a Darth Vader in their collection, you think? Or do you think here's a good question. Does anybody not have a Darth Vader in their collection?
Yeah.
And do you have one? Is there any scale that you don't have a Darth Vader figure, in your collection?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have a vintage, you don't have a vintage collection one, and if you don't have a Black Series or whatever, then just because like I don't collect that much vintage collection, but I can walk over there right now and get a Darth Vader vintage collection still on the card, just because. That's obviously one I think that I would get for my just to have, because he's so, naturally that's one I think like everybody would have.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
Did you buy the original retro collection one you said you did just now, or?
Yeah, the retro. Yeah, because I got that whole way. So I had trouble like picking up the original Star Wars, when they came out with those retros on card. And then I ended up getting like one set, and then ultimately Entertainment Earth sold them as in a box, and I think I ordered a second one, and then I was finally able to open them because I did want to open one set, and I did a comparison, I think, versus vintage versus those retros.
Yeah, I can't wait for the second wave of the New Hope figures. That's going to be so awesome. Like Vac Metal, C-3PO and stuff.
Right. So I think it's I think Vader's pretty iconic. I don't really have. I mean, it's interesting because when I was going through trying to find all my Vaders, I was like, "Where the heck are they?" And then, oh, you know what? Let me see if this guy's down here. I'll show you what I did to one of my Vaders. I'm gonna disappear for a minute while I go through my bag of I got this like red bag, and these are like this is where I keep like my custom Moff Gideon, my custom Luke, all the stuff that I mismatch and tear apart, and some extras like extra Han Solo.
So that's the place where figures don't want to go. You don't want to end up in that bag.
Yeah. So I have this body, and I don't. Darn it! I got to find the head. So I had done this weird thing with that guy. Yeah, this is the who's that kid from Toy Story? Sid.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Sid bag. You don't want to be in here, or you're going to end up on the chopping block. Look who's in there.
Oh yeah.
This is where I'm like putting stuff together, and I'm trying to see like, does that look all right or whatever. Like I did this Leia, but I think that
look at her.
The coat's a little bit big, so
it's like a Fortnite character.
Yeah. What?
I'm just catching up on some stuff. That's all. Oh, that's you texting me, huh, Vern?
I did.
In DM.
Oh, you just got it?
Yeah. Well, I'm terrible like that. I don't check my messages, and everything's on silent all the time. What the hell is this from?
Okay. Anyways, I'm not gonna find this right now. All right. Anyways, I had done like one of these. I wish I could find it. It's the helmet from one of those Gaming Grapes figures, the Inferno Squads, and I hollowed it out and I made a head for that Vader body, but I can't find that head. All right, everybody. I don't know. What else you want to talk about? Did you get anything good this week?
Yeah, I got that Book of Boba Fett figure. And I think that's all I got, man. And I ordered olive oil to go with the Popeye that I bought. So she's supposed to be here today.
Olive oil. Yeah, you know what? I saw those. Those are boss fights, right?
Yeah.
Boss fights. Those are like what, like $20 a piece?
Yeah, and I guess originally they were like $40 or something like that, and Amazon's like cheap selling them, and
So
everybody's upset.
I want to pull this picture up because I'm kind of interested in what people think of this. But let me find. All right. Valaverse. You
Oh yeah.
look at any of the Action Force?
No, I've seen a few videos though of the new wave, I guess the
All right.
girl wave, but I haven't picked up any of those because you have to budget somehow.
All right. What about this? This is just cool in a way.
Yeah.
They came out. So this character, the Pandora, they have a version that's not bloodied up, but then they came out with this. This is a special edition, whatever, and it's the bloody variant.
Yeah.
I think it looks kind of cool. I mean, it's an
Mhm.
interesting idea for sure to me. And I'm just wondering, any Valaverse collectors out there? Anybody pick this up besides Connor? Because I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah,
Saw his
Connor.
picture. And I'm thinking, like, how do you think they
That's
got
pricey,
that
man.
blood splatter? So yeah, but it's a variant. So I'm wondering, like, once this is like gone, like
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like if you look at the
Oh, that
splatter,
looks cool. Yeah.
right? How do you get that splatter so small? It looks really cool to me.
It does look cool.
Yeah. And then look at these gloves.
Oh, Connor said it's on his way right now to Dublin.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
if I was gonna pick one up, I think that would be one I'd want for sure because it just stands out, man. It looks super cool.
so I'm interested. I'm also interested because I'm like on their site, right? And one of the things that I'm looking at is they have these like they have this section here. Well, let me just go store products. They have figures. Let's see. Look at this wounded section. So they got like wounded Sergeant Hammer or Sergeant Slaughter, and he's a little bit less expensive than the regular one, right? But then check out this. They got this one right here, and it's signed. So they got signed versions that in the wounded section. So instead of paying what they would have charged you before for like $60 or whatever, they're like 50 to get a signed figure. And I'm guessing the wounded just means the packaging is damaged a little bit. And I'm wondering, like, are these worthwhile to anybody to get like a signed figure for a little bit cheaper? If you know that the package is going to be damaged a bit, does it still hold value? You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
I think it would still hold value, because it's hard to get 6-inch is hard to keep mint in package,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at what Connor's saying. He's saying,
I know.
so extra shipping and customs charges is going to be like over $80 for that thing.
So he's all in.
I think with a figure like that, it's hard to pass up because it's a one-off, right? Like,
Yeah.
Unless they start doing like this is if this was Hasbro, this is what I imagine they would do. They'd go, hey, we're going to give you this exclusive bloody variant, and then they have like one figure that has a bloody variant, and then they sell out. And then the next thing you know, 3 months after they got everybody to buy it, they release every other figure in a bloody variant.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think Valaverse will do that.
No, it doesn't seem like they would.
Yeah, I think
especially now that they're on weekly talking about that stuff. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I think that But they supposedly have a 1/12 scale vehicle that they've teamed up to do. And have you seen this? Have you seen that?
I don't know if I have or not. I think I
Okay.
have. Pretty sure.
I'm gonna see if I can find it. Somebody can tell me, like, they teamed up with an auto dealer to like oh, here it is. Here's the article.
What would have been funny is if they just went straight out and did the Challenger, you know, that would have been too good. Charger.
I'm just gonna I'll share it. Hold on. It's on YouTube. Hopefully they won't get upset that I'm sharing the video in a screen or whatever. So it's gonna be, they're teaming up with Resvani Motors. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Just gonna skip to it. So they're gonna make a
Oh
1/12
yeah, I see
scale of
this.
that,
Yeah.
right? I think it's gonna look cool. So this was the announcement. And what do you think the price point on that's gonna be? Right?
I don't know, man.
So I'm curious.
Hmm.
I'd be curious to know, because I have you ever gone to like the store and looked at like the vehicles that they sell with the WWE figures?
Mhm.
And I know that thing's going to be super detailed and stuff like that. But like recently, I was at Target and they had a semi truck. It had like some sort of a crane on the back. They sell it with the WWE figures, and
Mhm.
it's like a 1/12 scale, so those figures will fit in the cab and stuff like that. And probably not full to scale, but I mean, still workable with the figures. That thing was only $50,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Like
crazy.
if you think about that HasLab, which was like 350 and stuff like that. And I'm thinking like, well, okay, they added a lot more detail and they try to sell you some figures and stuff like that. But I mean, realistically, like a plastic car could be manufactured and sold for 40, $50. And
Yeah,
you
I
see
know. So weird.
these 1/12 scale radio controlled cars that they sell, like those Fast and the Furious ones and stuff like that. They're only, like $30. And how
Mhm.
much was that Batman vehicle? That
That went down as low as 25, I think, or
That's what I'm
29.
saying, right? So, I mean, obviously, you could build a vehicle in that scale, and you don't have to charge like an arm and a leg for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the lights.
I know the flame effects. Oh, and then we're gonna give you these figures that for some reason we can't produce even for our own direct to consumer site, so parents don't have to see them in stores. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all crazy, man.
Because isn't that their argument that they can't manufacture these toys because like they're going to get a lot of heat from them sitting on
Mhm.
shelves and parents and kids seeing them, but they have a direct consumer site
Yeah.
that they could sell them exclusively or exclusively with like a partner like Big Bad Toy Store or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Batmo Beast is 30 euros on clearance. Yeah, you know what? I saw the older version actually somewhere priced pretty low too. The one that had the actual cover over it, because I think that Batmo Beast is just the other one that had like the shell of the car, but they just ripped the shell off and sold the frame, right?
Yeah.
Castle Grayskull was only $75 at 1/12 each. Yeah, I agree with you. Desert Rat, Connor, awesome figures, but too expensive buying from the US and UK. Yeah, they had some other signed figures in there too. Apparently, like these Action Force, some of them I think are based off of real people. I didn't know that before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sure are.
Yeah. All right. Well,
So we nailed it all this week?
I
Till
think
next
so.
week?
I don't know. You said you had a surprise for everybody?
No. No.
Of course not.
No, just mad chaos, for me today.
Sean's got the dogs. He got no coffee. Look at him, just
No, I had a cup of tea, good old
not
cup of tea.
energetic. Okay, let's see. Desert Rat is based off of Tony from Analog Toys.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's not the one I thought. I didn't
no,
know any
this
other
guy.
ones were.
Here, let me tell you. It's this guy. Hold on, I got to go back to their site, look through their products. Figures. Is it Condor that I'm thinking of? No, the guy with the mustache. See, that's the problem. They gave him like interesting names that I can't remember. Series 2.
Yeah, so that's weird. I guess I didn't know that
Duster.
they stopped over there.
Let me just pull this up. So this guy right here, this is a guy named Duster, Tim Kennedy, and he's actually some sort of a soldier of fortune, or like one of these guys that works for a private security or something like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think he used to be special forces or something, and now he's private. But this
that's a great value,
Yeah. So I think that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool in a way, right? Where this company went ahead and said, "Hey, let's make some real heroes and mix them in with our line." I think that's pretty cool. Let's see, I bought Action Force. Let's see. I hope to get my Action Force pre-orders from the UK now that Toy Sarma has changed ownership. That would be actually kind of cool if they did some imports. I mean, you can pick up the Action Force now on Amazon, which is kind of crazy, right?
Oh, can you?
Yeah, you can get
Oh,
them from
I should
Amazon.
check that out. Maybe I'll try one.
Yeah, I recommend it. I think they're
about.
good figures. Fullers, I emailed them. Let's see. Oh, okay. He's waiting for them to say. Tim Kennedy, there you go, is an ex-Special Forces, MMA fighter, and real-life soldier of fortune. Okay. Jonathan, man. Somebody had to tell me, and I didn't know. I went and looked him up afterwards, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. But we don't want to bore you guys, right? We can sit here, and I don't think we have anything else prepared this week. But anyways, we want to say thank you, everybody, for joining us on the Toy Duo. You can always listen to the podcast if you want to. And give us a review. That way we can move up the podcasting charts. But we do appreciate everybody who came by and joined us for this episode of the Toy Duo. And we hope that we had some pretty good discussion. And we really appreciate everybody who participated in the conversation, as always. What do you got coming up this week? You got anything planned?
No, just randomness, hopefully.
All right. I haven't done any rants in a while because I've been trying to like hold back a little bit, but this last Marvel Legends thing just really was bugging me a lot, and I almost sat down and talked about Pinwheel Dude, or what do they call him, Uno Man? And
Uno Man's good.
I almost did it, but I held off. I've been having fun kind of doing those stop motions and stuff like that. And,
you've been real busy. Like
I did do an alternate
every day, it seems like.
Yeah, I did do an alternate audio version of Recondo, and I tried my Australian accent in there. And for anybody who it's a members video, so if you've seen it and you don't think I sound Australian, that's one of the reasons why I didn't actually try to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
But anyways, I appreciate everybody who stops by and checks out the videos, and all of you who participated today. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Peace, everyone. Be safe.
All right.
And
Take
I'm
care.
out of here too, Vern.
All right.
To try and handle some stuff.
Okay.
Finally. But
All
yeah,
right.
thanks for having me, man.
Okay. See you
Again.
guys.
He's an action figure poser, which means posing action figures is his specialty. SeanSolo8 and it's Vern from OakhurstStudios, who is a master at complaining about pretty much everything. And together, they are the Toy Duo.
He wasn't kidding. He really left. See you guys.